back to my channel. So I know I'm a little bit closer than usual, and that is because I am going to be doing a brow tutorial today. So if you want to know how I do my brows, then keep watching. Okay, so the first step is to brush your brows. So I like to brush mine kind of upward and out. So up and out. Next, what I'm going to do is take my M410 brush, and it's just a flat definer brush. And if I have dye on my hands because I just dyed my hair, as you guys can see. If you want to know how to do that, then I have a video on that on my channel. Just click that eye right here. So I'm going to be taking my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the color Cafe, and I'm just going to be outlining my brows. So the way I like to do it is I like to start with the bottom part of my brows. So just make a line in the direction that your brows go in. And try to be as precise as you can, because this is the foundation for your brows. So if this part's not right, then what else you got? So get the line as crisp as possible. Okay, and so basically what I just did is I kind of just made myself an arch. So where my eyebrow naturally goes upward, I just made it more a defined arch, if that makes sense. The most important part of outlining your brows is usually the top. The bottom part, I mean, it's just to keep them defined, but the top part can make or break your brows. So what I like to do is I like to start a little bit in front of my brows. So not quite where my actual brow starts. As you can see, I started a little bit in front. And I like to just follow that pattern, make myself an arch as I go, and then go down, a straight line down. So I'm just gonna do that. And boom. This took me a lot of practice just to find out what shape I liked. And make sure they connect on the end. So the two lines, make sure they are connected. So also the next step is to pull the line forward and downward. So pull all that concealer away from the line that you made on the top and on the bottom. So I'm just pulling the concealer away. And if you have a concealer that dries kind of fast, make sure you work quickly. Okay, now that all the concealer is pulled away from my brows, I'm going to take this BH Cosmetics bullet brush. It has no product on it, and I'm going to blend all of this out in circular blend this all out in circular motions, being sure to stay away from the line closest to your brow, because when you start to blend out that line too much, then it just defeats the definition that you just created. But you want to blend this out as much as possible around that line, because you don't want it to look like you got halo brows going on, you know? So you can see the concealer around your brows. And I do like to do my brows before anything else, like before my foundation and everything. just because if I mess up, I can just wipe it off without messing anything else up. Same with my eyes. I like to do my eyeshadow and everything after I do my brows, but before I do my face, just in case I mess up, I can just wipe it off and I won't mess up anything else. So I do my face last. So there we go. All that concealer is blended out around your eye. Now I like to take my fingers and do a little more blending. This concealer is a couple shades lighter than me, obviously. A few shades lighter than my skin tone, so it's not going to blend in completely, but once I put my foundation on and everything, you're not going to be able to see it. Okay, so now that that's done, my next step is going to be, okay, let me talk you guys through this. I used to use the Anastasia, let me get it for you. I used to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade in the color Ebony. That makes your brows really harsh and really like dark, and that wasn't the look I was going for. Plus, it's not as easy to work with as I would like. So then I switched over to the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in the color dark brown, which looks like this. Very tiny, amazing, precise brow pencil. Loved it. Until I decided to use powder one day, just because. And I tell you, I like powder way more. In person, it still looks nice. It doesn't look dark and like Sharpie. It doesn't look like that. But like in pictures, it still looks defined enough to match the rest of your makeup, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm going to be taking my Morphe 35O palette. And I'm going to be taking, let's see if I can get this. This shade right here, that's Hit Pan. I'm going to be taking this shade right here. This shade right here. And a kind of a mixture of all of those browns. Just kind of a mixture of all of these down here. Yeah. But mostly that first color that I showed you guys that I hit pan on, that's mostly going to be my brow. And then I'm going to use the lighter colors in the front of my brow. So for that, I'm going to be using my Morphe E11 brush. It's just an angled brush. And I'm just going to fill my brows in. Now I like to start kind of not in the beginning of my brows. I like to start in the middle and just blend it in. Make sure you line the bottom and the top. So you see how I'm stamping it and then dragging it to make sure I fill in the outer parts more than the inner parts of my brow. So right now, once I get towards the end of my brow, you see how I messed that up? You can just take that same brush and boom, clean it up. So I'm gonna take super dark brown and I'm just gonna stamp once I get closer to the tail. Since my brush is thicker than the tail of my brow, it does widen it a bit. So I do go over it again. No more product, just that same concealer brush. Just to make sure everything is filled in. So again, I'm just filling that in. And now I'm gonna take a lighter brown and I'm going to, lately I've been doing my brush sideways, like doing it sideways. Now I'm going to be going upward. So my brush is still sideways, but instead of going like this, I'm gonna go like that. So in the front of my brows, I'm gonna to start going upward with a light brown. Just to make sure the beginning of my brows aren't too harsh so they don't look boxy. And you can clean up along the way. I like to do that. And I'm gonna take my spoolie and brush all that product through. Okay. Clean up around my edges. Make sure they're still defined. And boom. That is basically it for the filling in part. Sometimes I go back in, especially when I'm done with my face and like I've got powder and stuff that is lightening my brows, I'll go over it. But now I'm going to take my Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel. And this looks like a spoolie too, but it has a brow gel on it and it's clear. They have tinted brow gel, but I've never used that. I like to use the clear. And basically just brush through my brows to make sure they don't go anywhere. I know this sounds weird, like your brows are not going to fly off your face, but they'll get lighter throughout the day, and you don't want that because you want your brows to stay how you made them. So when I get to the arch part, since I don't really have an arch, I like to brush those hairs upward. So in pictures, it doesn't look like a gap. It's filled in. And yeah, that's basically it for that. So now that I taught you guys how to do it, I'm going to do this brow. You see how that dye? Disgrace. But since I did tell you guys how to do this brow, I'm going to do this brow, but I'm going to kind of speed it up. Alright, you guys, those are my brows. That's how I've been doing them lately. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. There's going to be a part 2 to this video. There's going to be an eye look. So if you want to see that, then click the eye right here in the corner. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace, love, positivity, and happiness. Bye, guys.
Heard you got about 4 bitches. Tried to say you had less, but don't do it. If you say I'm on your mind, you gon' need